Hello everyone, my name is Kamran and I am a master's student, a robotics master's student here in Germany. I have made this series of Python programming. This is specifically a beginner level course, Python beginner level course, and this is specifically dedicated to those who are not from computer science background or who have just switched themselves from a different field to computer science background, or the people who are interested in learning a new programming language. So this course is based on around 7 to 8 videos, which will be a basic beginner course of Python. So if you are expecting something higher level, which means machine learning, neural networks, computer vision, so this course doesn't have anything related to computer vision, machine learning, and neural networks. This is just a ABC of Python. So after completion of this course, you will be able to write your code in Python. Then, as you will be good at writing the code, you can now implement different neural networks, different strategies, different algorithms to make your code more productive, and you can opt AI as well. So before we start this course, I would like to mention few things. Let's take an example. This course is based on around 7 videos, so which means there are 7 to 8 videos, which it depends that what is the pace the student is opting. So for every video, there's a document. The document will be available in the comment section as well, in the description section as well. So you can download the documents from there. In every document, there is a set of questions which you have to solve. And their questions are very basic, so I believe it will be very easy for you to solve the questions. We will try to solve few questions over here as well, so that you can get a basic understanding of Python programming. Before we start Python programming, the very first thing this video is based on is installation of Python. So there are few IDEs, which is integrated development environment, which are used to do Python coding. So we will use Anaconda. The reason why we are using Anaconda is basically it's very basic and it has compatibility of Python as well, and it's easier to use because you can troubleshoot your code, and if you want to prototype something. So I believe Jupyter Notebook, which is inside Python, is the best resource. I will tell you the difference later on when we will start downloading the Anaconda software. So the very first thing which you need to do is you need to open Google Chrome, and then you have to type over here Anaconda. Anaconda download. So there's the first link, which is a free download. You have to click on this link. Then if you will scroll down, you will find all the relevant links, which include Windows installation, Mac installation, and Linux as well. Those who are using Linux, it's best if you go for Linux. It's completely fine. It's completely great because programmers normally use Linux. But for beginner level, you can start with Windows as well. Then you can switch to Linux. So we'll go to Windows section. So these are the Anaconda installers. The first is basically Windows. The Python language, the Python version is 3.11 and 64-bit graphical installer. So we'll just click on this link. As you will click on this link, you will see that the download is basically started and the software is around 1 GB. So it will hardly take 1 or 2 minutes. Meanwhile, it's get download. I want to share with you some few things about the course. So this is basically the pattern. So for every video, we have made a specific lab. So normally in universities or in your bachelor's, you might have seen that lab is the best way to learn anything practical. So every lab has some objective and have some outcomes. So once you complete the objective, you will be able to define your outcomes and you will be able to perform those outcomes as well. So we will not start lab number 1 right now. Just wanted to clarify you one thing. What is basically IDE? So IDE is basically integrated development environment. So these are the environment in which you basically do coding. So most of the people would be wondering why I'm not using Visual Studio, why I'm not using PyCharm, and why I'm not using any other IDE that is specifically designed for Python or any other programming language. So it's completely your choice. You are not restricted to use Anaconda, which is Jupyter Notebook. You can even use online editor as well. So it's completely fine. Here, I wanted to highlight two main IDs which I was using very frequently. One is Jupyter Notebook and one is PyCharm. So I want to highlight the difference between PyCharm and Jupyter Notebook is Jupyter Notebook is specifically for those who are doing prototyping. So let's take an example. You are writing a code and you just have to evaluate that code, whether that code is right or wrong, or you just wanted to run that code for the sake of understanding or for the sake of output. So you can use Jupyter Notebook. But what if you are making a project? So if you are making a project, it's always a good practice that you use PyCharm, not Jupyter Notebook. It's a good practice. It's completely fine if you are using Jupyter Notebook as well. Shifting from Jupyter Notebook to PyCharm is it's very easy. The difference is in Jupyter Notebook you can write multiple codes in multiple cells, but in PyCharm you have to make a separate file, and you can call those separate files in the main code as well. So it's completely fine. Both are acceptable. Here I want to mention an interesting fact about PyCharm is, so the full form of PyCharm is Python is charming. So the person who basically invented the programming language, he also invented the software as well, which is PyCharm. He wanted to say that Python is charming. Now, as we move forward, we will first look to our installation. So it's almost done. You have to click or double click on the link. So it will give you some steps that how to install Python, and you just have to press next, and that's how the thing goes on. So the setup has started. You just have to press next. I agree. Just me or all user, it all depends that whether you are using multiple users or not. Next. You have to click this register Anaconda 3 as my default Python 3.1 because it creates a virtual environment. So what is basically a virtual environment? Virtual environment is basically an environment that doesn't exist in reality, but it's a virtual environment where all your version control system is stable. So which means whatever libraries in future you would be using, it would be safe inside a virtual environment which should never exist in real, but it is an environment which includes all your libraries and dependencies. So you have to register 3 and I register Anaconda 3 as my default Python 3.11. You have to press install, then you just have to wait. You can press show details and you will see a lot of things getting extracted. Once you are done, it's very easy. The reason why we are using Anaconda is Anaconda has inside Anaconda, PyCharm is also available. Visual Studio is also available. There is one more ID which is known as Spider is also available in Anaconda. So whatever suits you best, you can directly opt for that thing. Another reason for using Anaconda is you will find a lot of libraries that are already pre-installed in Anaconda. So you don't have to install it intentionally. Let's take an example, Cbond, Pandas. Then you have, very basic libraries that are used for, mathematical calculations, like math library as well. So this whole installation will not take time. So let's just wait for it to complete. Okay, so I guess it's done. It took a lot of time. Then you have to press next, next, and these are two things you can check it or not. I don't want to open it. Navigator, you can launch it so that you can see how many IDs are available for you to start with coding. So once the screen will appear, so you will see Spider, I believe Visual Studio, PyCharm, Jupyter Notebook, and there are a lot of even if you are doing R language, so there's R Studio as well, and there are multiple IDs available in that Anaconda framework. So you can use whatever. So it's even good for those who are who are trying to learn data sciences as well. So it's like a all-in-one solution. So I guess we are here. You don't have to sign in. Just press remind me later. Cross. Now see there are all the IDs available. Yes, Orange 3 as well. Available over here. You will see PyCharm Professional as well. PyCharm Community is free. Professional is a paid version. So ultimately you have to pay. Spider is good. I've used Spider for Python development as well. Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook is specifically for those who are very new to Python. So it's a very good IDE. So you have to press launch. There are two ways to launch this. First, you go to Anaconda Navigator and then you press Jupyter Notebook. Or the second thing is on start, you can directly write Jupyter Notebook. So you will click on this. There will be a black window appearing on your screen and it will automatically start Anaconda. But you don't have to close the black screen because the black screen is command prompt, which is CMD window. It's basically a backend of Jupyter Notebook, which is actually saving your file and doing all the relevant stuff. So you don't have to close that black window. So I will launch it from here, Anaconda Navigator. So the screen is here in front of us. So the very first step is you need to make your all content, all work in a separate file. So you can save it anywhere. What I'm habitual of is I go to document section. There are some, folders available. You can press new and then on new, you can press folder. Then you can click on this square box. You can rename is like Python beginner course. Then you will press this beginner course and from there you can start making your Python Jupyter Notebook here. So in the next video, I will teach you how to make your first file on Jupyter Notebook and how you can learn Python.